Welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free from narcissistic abuse with quantum tools and understandings. Lots of people ask this question, absolutely. And in today's Thriver TV episode, we're going to get right down to it. And I promise you that when you get healed beyond this, you're not going to care. But until then, you will a lot. The narcissist leaving can be devastating beyond measure, and maybe it's happened to you so many times that you are now walking on broken glass, not knowing if you can relax into loving this person or when they could just up and leave you again. If you're going through this pattern, how can you have any certainty or security in your relationship or your life? And the truth is, you can't. So let's start off by talking about the ones that leave and come back and leave and come back again. And I've known people who have been through discard after discard after discard, and then been love bombed and coerced back into the relationship with a narcissist, time and time again. Make no mistake, this is a cycle of violence. And the cycle of violence goes like this: the blow up, the abusive episode, the separation, the reconnection, which can bring like a honeymoon period again, tension builds, and then the blow up, the abusive period happens again. And on it goes over and over again. The blow up situations intensify and the times between cycles generally shorten. Why? Because life has a way of showing us when we're not living aligned with the truth of our soul. And with narcissists, things usually need to get horrific before we let go and we do what we've always needed to, which is turn inwards to heal ourselves beyond being on the receiving end of these abusive cycles. Discards when a narcissist leaves can be totally confusing as well as distressing, because narcissists truly are the master of pulling the rug out from under you. The truth is, if you're dispensing narcissistic supply in the way the narcissist's false self requires, or the narcissist is acting out their role perfectly whilst love bombing, which is all about initially hooking you or not losing you as a source of narcissistic supply, the narcissist may act like they're totally in love with you, telling you that you're their one and only, their true soulmate, and they couldn't ever think of living without you. Yet, as soon as you hit that tripwire that detonates an ego injury within the narcissist's fragile inner identity, he or she despises you, even to the point of being hell-bent to replace you with another source of supply, or punish you or discard you. Again, the narcissist leaves emotionally, or in a fidelity sense, or literally. And this leaves you reeling, not able to comprehend what has just happened when you've gone from hero to zero with a narcissist. One moment you're the love of their life, and the next you're thrown on the scrap heap as if you never mattered and don't exist. You're adored and then abhorred on a dime, and it leaves your head spinning. Then there are the narcissists who don't come back. And this can happen because the person that they've been sucking dry ends up so sick and emptied out that they serve absolutely no purpose to the narcissist anymore. The narcissist in this case is like an actor moving sets. The previous actors and scenes serve no purpose to him or her anymore. Many people have personally experienced the soul devastation of being rendered so sick and damaged that they've been suicidal, hospitalised, or even given a shocking health diagnosis, and the narcissist deserts them for good. The only time the narcissist may reappear is if they find out that this person has had a miraculous recovery, which equates to they'll be able to grant me what I want from them again. The only case of a narcissist not deserting someone who we may not consider as a fertile source of narcissistic supply anymore is when he or she is an altruistic narcissist who uses people's sickness, reliance, and dependency to get an ego feed. You know, aren't I a fabulous person? As well as control people, which all gets down to because of what I do for you, you owe me. which can be a very sick and deadly game that keeps people sick and bonded to him or her. This plays out as the narcissist being both the abuser and rescuer to these people. Or, if not an altruistic narcissist, perhaps the narcissist is hanging around like a vulture, waiting to pick what they can from this person when they're completely incapacitated or pass over. Another reason why narcissists may leave permanently is because the game is up. Their mask has come down, they've been exposed, and the people they are leaving fully knows who they are, and they can't be manipulated, threatened or abused by them anymore. This is very, very handy for thrivers who've done the inner work and truly want to get on with their abuse-free lives. Once the narcissist experiences that there's no more narcissistic supply to be gained from someone, then they simply can't expend their own inner energy that's forever waning and can't be self-sustained to try to get it. They have to go for easier sources. Speaking of other sources, narcissists will generally, when leaving temporarily or permanently, be hunting or be with other sources of narcissistic supply. If the new source of supply doesn't work out, he or she may return to you as if nothing has happened and try to simply resume with you. Even if the new source of supply does work out, there may be a time when the narcissist suffers from an ego injury from this new person and decides he or she wants to punish that person by hooking up with you again. I've often said that narcissists are like crocodiles. They keep people on the hook for narcissistic supply, just as crocodiles keep lumps of meat under rocks for a future chew if supplies get low. Narcissists are experts at triangulating people in this way, ensuring that these people don't get together and realise the truth. When narcissists leave, they may not give you a reason or just go missing or tell you that they're away on business and that the work contract is extended or whatever else. Or he or she may just say, I need time to think, which is narcissistic speak for, I'm testing out another source of supply or returning to an ex to see how that turns out, and I'm stalling things with you just in case it doesn't. Or he or she may incite an argument with you, get you to lose your temper and turn it all back on you, saying that's why they're leaving. And the truth is, it's very easy for them to do this. It can happen at the drop of a hat because the narcissist was never truly there in the first place. It happened to me, especially with narcissist number 2, who regularly deserted and left, and I'm sure it's happened to so many of you watching this too. And what I know now, apart from what I needed to heal, is that we need to show up asking questions and investigate if something feels off. Don't just take somebody's word for it if something feels wrong inside for you, because often our intuition is correct. Matters may be untoward, and truly, if a person is not a narcissist, as long as you stay calm and honest about your doubts, if they've got nothing to hide, it shouldn't be an issue. Okay, so now let's get down to how to stop this devastating, heartbreaking pattern happening in our life. We can't change the narcissist. We can never appease or satisfy a false self. It's not personal. It's just not possible. The only person we have the power to change is ourselves. And this is the thing about narcissists. They bring to us always the parts of ourselves that are underdeveloped and unhealed, that require our own attention, love, and devotion to heal into wholeness. For me, my susceptibility was the terrors of abandonment, which, because they were unhealed, were throttling me again and again and again by someone who delighted in regularly abandoning me. And just as I thought things were going well, he'd blow up and he'd go from being the luckiest man in the world to breaking up with me again. I was devastated and in shock. I couldn't eat, think, or sleep. Of course, at these times, he was seeing other sources of supply. Then he would hoover and come back And again, I would capitulate and believe the unbelievable and forgive the unforgivable. And that was until I finally said, enough, no more. And I healed my inner being regarding her terrors of abandonment. And then I lost all pulls and addiction to him and was able to let go fully, break all psychic ties with him, and never experience that again. In stark contrast, my partner now, Brad, is as solid as a rock. He never wishes to abandon me. And that pattern is gone in my life. And I promise you, my new improved self would never tolerate it again. So maybe your deep unhealed traumas that are playing out here are about being replaced by another, or deemed insignificant, or overlooked, or deserted, or the same as mine, fear of abandonment. Whatever they are, they're going to keep coming up and at you until you heal them and clean them up. So if you know that it is high time for you to finally get to the bottom of why you're tolerating this, or pining for someone who's cruelly discarded you, hoping they'll return, there is a way out of this nightmare. And I would dearly love to show you how. With my 16-day free course, which includes an invitation to a healing workshop with me, a set of ebooks, and lots more. So to access these, just click the link at the top right of this video. And if you want to see more videos, make sure you like and subscribe so you get notified as soon as each new video is released. So until then, keep smiling, keep healing, and keep thriving, because there's nothing else to do. Lots of love. Bye-bye.